Your business needs AI solutions that are not only ambitious, but also practical and adaptable. That's where Domo's AI and data products platform comes in. With Domo, you can channel AI and data into innovative uses that deliver measurable impact. Secure AI agents connect, prepare, and automate your data workflows, helping you gain insights, receive alerts, and act with ease through guided apps tailored to your role. Domo is built to meet the challenges of today's AI landscape with a robust, all-in-one platform powered by trust, flexibility, and years of expertise in data and AI innovation. Data is hard. Domo is easy. Learn how Domo can help you unlock your data's full potential at ai.domo.com. That's ai.domo.com.
I have come here to chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here. In the sumptuous and palatial SHR Media studios. 2 miles away from the veritable locus of evil on the entire left coast. I'm not kidding. The capital. The building that sits in its evil fashion in Shatramento, Fornicalia, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied Fornicalia. You got a belly up to the bar. We've kept your seat, and it's great to see you back. Biff is going to be your bartender tonight. He pours with the best of them. And in fact, the lava lamp is lighted right there to indicate that you can listen and chat at shrmedia.com. And you can watch the show on the SHR Media YouTube channel, Facebook page, and Periscope. Welcome already to Mike in Chat, the Alaskan in Chat. We don't water our drinks just like we don't water our conversation, politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the saloon. Nothing is sacred. The speech is free, but the booze is not. All that we ask is that you flush the toilet, jiggle the handle, and don't forget to tip your waitress. Tonight, we are going to have, for the first hour, Kari, Baxter, Donovan, and she's going to weigh in on a whole bunch of topics. And and the second hour, basically, this is the last time that I'm going to be able to speak to you before the midterm elections on Tuesday of next week. For this weekend, I'm going out to, I know, you guys, some of you will say, oh, well, BZ, that's kind of weird, but I'm going to a paranormal show this weekend up in the foothills of California, and Alan Thomas, who's been on the show numerous times, is going to be one of the speakers there. Alan and I are going to get together, have a chat, maybe do a show. We'll talk about the paranormal experience and the convention that we go to, all that kind of stuff. We'll probably get together for dinner, bring our wives, have fun. There may be alcohol may be involved. Mary Brockman, welcome. Good to see you. As the Alaskan says, vote red or be dead. Mr. Alaskan, I should tell you quite succinctly, that's going to be the entire topic for the show. Because number one, I've got a great news piece that just came in, but I'm not going to discuss that until we get Kari on the phone. And she'll be here in just a minute. She's going to be here. Hello. Hey, it's Kari Baxter Donovan.
It is. Hello.
Yes, hello indeed. You know what's great about this, and this is why I know things are going to be great, is I got you on the first ring. In other words, I didn't have to call you back.
I know. So we're doing well tonight with technology. Awesome.
Yeah.
We're off to the races.
Because sometimes with Facebook, it has a good sound to it, but occasionally I've discovered that I have to call people back because for whatever reason the first phone call doesn't really make it. Oh, Whiskey Dale! Good to see you in chat. A couple of viewers who will not be unmasked. So, folks, as I indicated, this is the last time that I'm going to be able to talk to you before Tuesday. Now, to give you an update, there will be an SHR Media special report on Tuesday, and we're going to talk about the election. We're going to talk about the information leading up to the election. We're going to have special correspondents who will be calling in. One of them will, in fact, be BZ's ECPG, which is my East Coast political goddess, to whom we are speaking right now, Kari Baxter Donovan. She's going to be calling in about stuff that's happening in North Carolina and also on the East Coast. And we're going to have Jeff Dunitz calling in. We're going to have Melanie Teresa calling in as well. And okay. I brought, let's see, I brought all sorts of people, very special columnists back from the dead to speak to us. So it's going to be a great show. It's going to be starting about 3 p.m. Or 4 p.m. Pacific, which means it'll be 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern. And right off the bat, let's just go here. Because I counted them, Kari Baxter Donovan. I've got 2 laptops, my phone, and a tablet, and 2 big old monitors right here, all hooked up. My tablet and my laptop has 40 tabs at the top. Each one of them is a separate tab or an audio cut. So if you think that I have a few things to talk about tonight and I almost don't know where to start, let's start from
alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Let's start from the left.
Yeah,
to
just
the right.
about.
No, from the right to the left, because you'll close your tabs on yourself.
That's true.
I don't know.
I used to like it when
Jump in.
When you would call the Hugh Hewitt show, and if he didn't like you, he'd tell you that you had to hang up on yourself. So one day when we get a phone system here that actually works, instead of BZ's phone, it's a work in progress. We're working on it. Then I'm going to ask people to. Great. Thank you. I'm going to ask people to hang up on themselves. In any event, let's start at the start.
I will know you made it.
Yeah, that's right. When I have people hanging up on themselves.
When you get to say hang up on yourself right now. You just go hang up on yourself right now.
And the weird-ass thing is, what if they do it? Oh, hey, Dave Miller. Welcome to Dave Miller.
You will have the ultimate power.
Yeah, that's true. Kind of. Well, it's kind of godlike. In any event, let me go back to Tuesday night. Now, we didn't have a Sackheads last night, and that's because Sackheads Clinton was having another rhinoplasty, and they had to pull out the McCullough.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I know. They had to pull out the McCullough chainsaw to try to revamp the prior operation that they'd conducted. But so he wasn't available, and I can't do a show by myself because I'm already responsible for 6 hours of content a week with no producer.
Yeah, it's hard.
I know. So it is difficult. You actually have to do real honest-to-God show prep so that you don't look like an asshole. Or more importantly, sound like one, which for me is difficult in the first place. Now, having said that, let's go back to Tuesday.
No, it's not.
Oh, shush. You're so kind.
You. All right. Yeah, you're still on Tuesday.
Let's go back to
Oh, my gosh. I loved every minute of it.
Well, here's what I did give you props, but now is the time to, like Dave Milner says in chat, show prep is my life. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I gave Kari props on Tuesday, but I need to give her some solo props in public. And so the first thing that a supervisor or manager learns is praise in public, reprimand in private. And if you ever had a supervisor or a manager who didn't do that, you can chalk it up to him or her being an asshole, because that's the number one thing when you supervise or manage people. So while we're in public, I have to give big props to Kari Baxter Donovan, and that's another reason why she's the East Coast political goddess, damn it. She arranged for...
I appreciate that a lot, but listen...
You arranged for Michael Moore.
I have a little citizen pundit who, she's a dynamo, and she's a fellow Steve Bannon fan. Mm-hmm. She's a dynamo, and now I had followed True Pundit for a while, like back during Obama. I remember reading his stuff, but I'm not the one who took the deep dive in. It was my friend Maria who did, and she brought him to me.
Oh,
and
okay.
so I appreciate that a lot, but I have to be honest with you that Maria introduced him to me, and so the two of us, she and I, are through Populist Media trying to help him to promote his book, and that is how I discovered him.
Okay, but in any event,
really was introduced to him, and then I knew you would do a great job on an interview with your law enforcement background. So I mean, I just put two obvious things together, so I can't really take any credit, but thank you.
Sure you can, because, listen, you got, like I say, you got to give credit where credit is due, and you were due that. So, folks, if it weren't for KBD, then my ECPG, this is the house of acronyms, apparently, then I wouldn't have been able to speak to Mike Moore on Tuesday. If, for whatever reason, you didn't, because a lot of people listen to the podcast and they don't listen live.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Moore has just come out with a new book. He's essentially the creator of TruePundit.com. The entire website, I learned, of TruePundit.com, and I got him to admit it, damn it, was basically an act of retribution, payback, or revenge for essentially the FBI going out of their way to hose Mike Moore a few years ago, and basically under the auspices of he was a bad guy and reproduced hockey videos on VHS, for fuck's sake. He had discovered some information that was absolutely earth-shaking, and I tried to get him to tell us exactly why he thinks these things occurred. But he unearthed some information that apparently a lot of people in D.C. did not want to be unearthed, and that's this, that apparently before OBL, Osama bin Laden, went to Pakistan and then was subsequently captured, I think it was May 11th, 2012, something like that. I probably have the date wrong. But he discovered that prior to that, under the Bush administration, kiddies, I should tell you this as well, he was kept in Iran for 10 years under wraps, so to speak. Now, whether that was because he was having his dialysis, Whiskey Dale says May 2nd. Thank you, WD. Whether that was because he was undergoing analysis or whether Iran just decided to keep him there for whatever unmentioned and unknown reason up to this point, the U.S. government knew exactly where he was, and for whatever combination of crazy-ass reasons, did not and or failed to attempt to negotiate or get him so that he could be arrested, disposed of, etc. I indicated that it seemed to me that, for whatever reason, again, Osama bin Laden apparently lost his usefulness. He ceased being a useful tool and subsequently had his ass kicked off over to Pakistan. That's when Obama swept in, looking like the wonderful guy that he isn't, and arrested Osama bin Laden, and then a couple of SEALs popped him in the noggin. And that was the end of OBL. But the big question was, a number of people that were connected to this, including a former, I think it was a New Mexico governor, Bill Richardson, who was a pretty big dude at the time.
Right. Yeah.
The government went and screwed with Bill Richardson, and a number of people whose names I can't recall right now, along with Mike Moore, to the point where Mike Moore lost his job, almost got a divorce, screwed with his family. His family ended up at the wrong pointy end of M4s held by people, representatives of the United States government. And after he kind of calmed down and got over that, he was already involved in various forms of intelligence and was an intelligence contractor. He decided that essentially enough was enough, and then he was going to attempt to do something about all of that information. That was essentially the inspiration for TruePundit.com. Now, advance to Tuesday. On Tuesday, or actually that weekend, Kari had contacted me and said, I've got this great guy, Thomas Paine. He goes by Thomas Paine, but now he's outed. People know his real name, Mike Moore. He's written a book, and I think he'd be a good interview. His book, by the way, I should tell you, I don't know if you got your copy yet. No, that's right, you did. Kari Baxter Donovan, you did get your copy. Well, I'm on
chapter 3.
Just about 2 hours before I got into the studio here tonight, I opened up the BZ mailbox and pulled it out, and there was my copy. So when I get through tonight, dude, I am going to, or Dudette in your case, I am going to dive into that book. So
it's a roller coaster.
So
I'm on
tell me what you
3,
found. I got
reading it.
Tell me what you found so far.
Well, so about this story, I have been hearing rumors about these things for, 10 years now?
Okay.
Years? How long has it been? Oh, my gosh. So I would be hearing rumors, and maybe some of them are even from him. And I haven't asked him, but things on, Free Republic. And I remember reading True Pundit and, what is going on, hearing things from people who I knew were enlisted military families. And so I don't think he's uncovering anything that's too much of it's not 100%, secret. It's not like we didn't know some of these things before or were suspicious, had heard rumors of many of the things. But so I'm on chapter 3, and it is the big scandal in American history. And it's incredible that it's coming from this very low-key character, right? Mike is a low-key kind of mellow guy.
Yes.
And reading this book, my hair is standing up. The hair on my arms is standing up. I am full of emotions, angry, frustrated, sad. I'm moved by what I'm hearing him, how, he's describing what happened to his family and what was going on in his mind. And the injustice of it, just the career is so impressive. And these are all things that you can go and look up, right, and validate. And he's talking about what was going through his mind when the FBI is there and how they're a bunch of chuckleheads, who are not even at the level of understanding that he's at, which is just frustrating. He talks a little bit about his background, his personal background, and it seems so unfair because it's a guy who's come from hard knocks. His dad left him, and
right.
These are just things that just make you feel like, you just want the guy to get a break. And then for him to describe, obviously he loves his wife and his children, and to have to go through this, oh my gosh. But what I love is he reminds me a lot of me because we have some similar things in our background. When I talked to him on the first day, he said something about, you must be Irish. Because it's just like, I'm just not going to let it go. I'm like a dog to a bone. I am so mad, right? He describes this sort of revenge. It is very obvious that this book is in revenge for what they did to him and his family. And I'm just like, he has painted himself without even knowing it because he's so unassuming as an American hero in the footprints of the real Thomas Paine, right? That's what I've gotten up to in chapter 3, where he has laid out a very good case that he's very credible. These things are rumors that we had heard about, and now he's pulling them together. And not only is he pulling that together, but he's explaining why it is that the deep state is still doing these things. And he says this book is going to be the foundation to end the deep state. If we can just get it out there, right? So we have to get the book out there. We have to let people know about it. People have to let other people know about it. We need to start discussing these things online, and we need to let them know, like, we see you and we know what you did, right? So chapter 3.
This is a perfect time now, though, if I can interrupt just for a second. This is a perfect time. You're tasked with basically promoting this book. So now is an excellent time to promote the site for the promotion of the book so people can go, and also promote your website and where you can be found. But I'm thinking the first thing is, hey, tell people where they can go to get information about the book and about Mike Moore.
Well, and so we've started a Facebook page called True Pundit on Facebook to try to keep some of his media together and to talk about the book. We're probably Maria, the one who really sunk into, I don't want to say she sunk her teeth into him, because the last thing that this poor man needs is any more physicality toward him. Yeah. She really sunk her mind into what he was doing. So Maria and I are going to start some more promotional things tomorrow. But there is on his Twitter account, which is true_pundit on Twitter. He's posted a few things about it. It is on Amazon. You can go and read about 8 or 9 last time I looked. Very well thought out reviews if you want to see what people are saying about the book. He's gotten 5. I think he's gotten 5 ready. The book is already ranked number 3 in terrorism on Amazon. So you could go to Amazon. It's Pain, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. Look for more promotion on Facebook and Twitter. There's already a small group started from Populist Media, which is my site, Populist Media, on Facebook. And I've written a couple of articles on populist.media. So I'll be writing some more articles. Maria she's so incredible. She finds, she really knows the story. She's been following him for a long time, and she's just tossing articles to me. So I'll pick some of those things up and start writing some more promotional style articles with some background, which is what she's really good at. And we're hoping to get him on some more radio programs because his story is just fantastic. So we are just going to be working from Populist Media and anywhere else we can get to get this story out to really help explain the details to people so they understand, know to go to Amazon and get it, and hopefully people will get their book and start writing and posting on their own pages about it.
I just got my copy, and like I told him on Tuesday, and I think he's going to be amenable to that, is I wish I understand the publishing. The book was published on Monday. The interview was Tuesday. I didn't get a copy. Normally, obviously, I like to read the book of whatever author I'm speaking to at the time. And I kind of felt like I was almost unarmed by not having read the book because there's so even having not been able to read the book, I came up with, and I literally said 14 pages of questions for this guy. I got to maybe 2 or 3 pages of it. So I asked him, when I conclude the book, when I'm finished, I'd love to have him back because there are so many more questions to ask him because it opens so many doors and it's all in the details. The devil is in the details. And what we're finding out is essentially very little of this would have come out or leaked or been presented to the public, as it were, had Hillary Rodham Clinton been elected president.
Absolutely. So
we would not know in what dire situation
there's so much going on.
This country is in at this point.
Well, what we're in now, but imagine what we were in 2 years ago.
Oh, it was...
Without really knowing. I mean, we kind of knew. We kind of, like I said, I have friends who are SEALs who talk about things, rumors and things that they can't necessarily, classified information they can't talk about, but they can lead you to, some more rumors and gossips and whispers and things that start to say, wait a minute, how can I have heard this same story from so many different sources who don't know each other? Things about Obama and the way that Osama was killed, if he was killed, or how he was trying to protect Osama from getting killed during that particular time that he was killed, and the revenge that Obama got on the guys who killed him if he was killed. Like, this whole story. And then the idea of this Russian collusion thing being a smoke screen for the Osama bin Laden cover-up. I mean, we were in a desperate situation back then, and we knew it. A lot of us knew it, but we couldn't put our finger on what in the heck is going on. What is Benghazi about? What are all of these bizarre things around Hillary Clinton, Obama, and yes, George Bush about? And now to find out, did people go to war? Did people die in a war unnecessarily? I know people who served in Afghanistan, post-traumatic stress, and it has always been my premise has always been that post-traumatic stress is because these guys go over there and the rules of engagement are so insane that they start to feel like they're captives in war. And that's what post-traumatic stress is. It's when you have to live knowing that you are a captive of war and that you could at any time be attacked and that you have no control over your situation. It starts to mess with your head. How many of our American fellow patriots have suffered through death, loss, post-traumatic stress? And then to read Mike's story of his family being assaulted to cover this story up. It's going to be shocking, I think, when it really settles upon people. I think we were worse off 2 years ago than we are now. At least
the book
is out and people are reading it, right? So far.
Here's another thing. This story, I was going to lead with this before I called you, but then I thought, no, I'm going to wait until Kari's on. Then I'm going to let her know about the story. And the other thing I'm noting about this story is at this point, I haven't done a major dig on this, but at this point I only see one media group mentioning this story. And it all goes back to people have, conservatives, I say, have kind of like their own spidey sense. And our spidey sense, which is like common sense, has been tingling since 2016 and even before that. Now, on November 9th, next day following the presidential election and the loss of Hillary Clinton and the election of Donald John Trump as president, everything turned to Russia because they didn't have anything else. And by God, it can't be them. They're not responsible. Having said that,
and if you dig into anything Russian, that is a bizarre fairy tale child fantasy.
Well,
it's crazy.
That dovetails with this story that just came out from the New York Post. The headline is, and this is about an hour or two old now. The headline is, FBI clears Michael Flynn in probe linking him to Russia. Now, do you think that anybody is going to shout this from... Do you think anybody on the leftists, the Demorats, or the American media maggots are going to admit they're going to shout this from the rooftops? Well, hell no. The story goes like this. No. The FBI has reviewed intercepted phone calls between National Security Advisor Michael Flynn and the Russian ambassador to the U.S. and has found no evidence of wrongdoing. It was revealed. The calls were made in late December, picked up as a part of routine electronic surveillance of Russian officials. They did not reveal any illicit ties between Flynn and Russia, according to the Washington Post, etc., etc., etc.
Right.
So what we had, by the way, this was revealed back in January of 2017 and never picked up, emphasized again now. So I always said, two Hells Angels can keep a secret if one is dead. And it's true about the LAPD. And it's true about the Mueller investigation. We got about 1 minute before the bottom of the hour break. So what we have had so far out of the Mueller investigation are nothing but crimes of process. There is no causal linkage between essentially anyone in the Trump administration and Russia. Now, we're going to have to take a break. Kari Baxter Donovan. We're going to come right back. Kari Baxter Donovan.
There's stuff in the book about it. Mm-hmm.
When we come back, I'd like to have you tell us about what it is that you may have found in the book about that. And we'll continue. The book that we're talking about is by Mike Moore, otherwise known as Thomas Paine. He's the creator of TruePundit.com. His book is entitled Paine, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. You can get it on Kindle and also in what we call trade paperback form, which is a little bit bigger than a regular paperback. And it's not out in hardback. If it gets a whole assload of sales, then they may release it in hardback, but you can find it in Amazon, Kindle, paper, etc. Again, it's called Paine, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. And when we come back, I want to ask Kari Baxter Donovan about that and the book and Mike Moore. And I also want to now get and roll into the midterms because I have my spidey sense, again, is tingling because there's a lot of things that are unsaid and a lot of things that people are not going to be telling you about. And Kari Baxter Donovan and me, BZ, we are going to be talking about that. Be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is Sackhead Sean.
And this is Sackhead's Clint.
And Sackhead's BZ.
Join us for a very important SHR Media special report, Election Night, November 6th, as we cover midterm returns live from the SHR Media Studios.
Not only will we have the best live election coverage, we'll have our very own SHR reporters on scene around the nation to keep you immediately updated.
We'll start at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and go until, well, it's over. We may have some choice comments to make along the way.
For the best midterm election night coverage, go to shrmedia.com and watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Delineates. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Delineates.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever,
because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and germs, boys and girls, welcome back to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, where I am broadcasting live and direct. You can watch us on the SHR Media Facebook page, the SHR Media YouTube channel, and on Periscope. And you can listen and chat, because the chat room is going like crazy at shrmedia.com. My guest for the first hour is Kari Baxter Donovan. She is my East Coast political goddess for great damn reasons. And she has her very own site called populist.media, populist.media. And it's a great aggregator, and they also write great stories there. Populist Media, you can't say it much more exclusively than that. Oh, my God, Beantown Billy's in chat, so I have to say welcome to Beantown Billy, because that's how I introduce Beantown Billy. And we were talking at the break. Beantown Billy. They're talking about, and they're going, oh, it's so great to see that the Red Sox kicked the slats out of the Los Angeles Yankees, or whatever the hell they are. My team almost went to the Super Bowl themselves, except they were put in the penalty box. My team is the Milwaukee Brewers, and I picked them years ago because they were such a sad state of affairs. And they never went anywhere. And by God, the Brewers almost went somewhere this year. I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. So we're talking to Kari Baxter Donovan about her promotions of Mike Moore's book. Mike Moore used to go by the AKA of Thomas Paine, and the book is entitled Paine, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. I like that visual reference because it brings up something in my brain housing group in any event. And so you were going to tell us about some things that you discovered while you were reading the book, because you got your copy today. Kari Baxter Donovan.
I did, and I don't want to spoil it because it's a fun read. It's a fun page turner, and I usually get bored with books, to be honest with you. I get bored with books, movies, and television, so I'm kind of particular. But this is a fun book, and it's a page turner, and I'm just sitting there like just delving in, and he has written it so that you feel like you are on this journey with him. there's a good reason why he says that he has dismantled the FBI in his pajamas. He lays it out perfectly, and I don't want to spoil the book for anybody. But the things that I can say are the book is thrilling. I would say thrilling. It is a roller coaster ride. It will raise up a lot of emotions. It's a great story. It's just fascinating because these are details of things that will bring a lot of news articles together, right, from the past, for the past 10 years. But one of the things that I can tell you from the book is he draws his story parallel to what is going on now with Mueller, like you said, with the Russia. And, I go back and forth because I've interviewed people who say, oh, no, Mueller's a great guy, and he's not going to do anything corrupt. I interviewed an FBI woman, the head of an FBI agency, who said, oh, no, Mueller's on the up and up, and he's not going to do anything bad.
Yeah, well, that's bullshit.
When you hear what Trump has said, and going back and forth, is he a bad guy or is he demonic? And I know I've heard people say that he's demonic. I wrote an article about some things that he was involved with covering up crimes, that had Muslims that had committed crimes and things that he was involved with. And I'm writing this, and I'm still not completely convinced because I don't know. I just don't know what to think of Mueller now. In this book, before the end of chapter 3, you will find out, I don't want to spoil the book, but you're going to find out that Mueller's not the Boy Scout, as Roger Stone calls him, Bobby 3-6, because he's Robert Swan Mueller III. And Roger Stone calls him Bobby 3-6 because it sounds mafiosa, right? And I'm laughing, but apparently he really is kind of a mafiosa. That's what Mike is saying in this book, is this Russian collusion is a smokescreen for this cover-up of Osama bin Laden. That is how bad. And what's another thing that's great out of this book, and I can tell you, somebody else drew a reference to it in the reviews of the book, is that this is not a book about Republicans versus Democrats.
He emphasized that,
Republicans aren't
yes.
the good guys, and Democrats aren't the bad guys. It's about the establishment versus the people, and how President Trump is the outsider, and that's why they're going after him. He drops some really interesting things before Chapter 3 that he knows about Donald Trump, which is another little piece. It's like this guy has so much credibility. It's like oozing out of him, and he's just so laid back, like, yeah, I'll come on and do an interview and tell you all these cool things. And he's so unassuming, isn't he?
That's one of the reasons that I wanted to draw excuse me. I wanted to draw a lot of things out of him before I actually got into the contents or the meat of the book itself. And what I did get out of him is he didn't just step out of right field somewhere. He was, in fact, a journalist. He was, in fact, up for a Pulitzer Prize. He does know what's going on. He has been in intelligence for years and years. He has many contacts in the government. He has many contacts in private intelligence as well. So I wanted to bring this out to throw down the veracity card to people. You did a great job. To people that say that, I'm sorry, he's a Russian bot. That's like saying the current cool thing to say on the left now is that Brandon Straka and the entire walk away movement is nothing but Russian bots. Well, bullshit alert.
Maxine Waters called me a bot.
Yeah.
She literally called me a bot on Twitter.
Bullshit alert on that.
Bots, right.
Bullshit alert on that with regard to Mike Moore. That's a real campaign.
Yes,
These
absolutely.
are real people, and they are having a significantly deleterious effect on what I call the LDAM, Leftists, Demorats, and American media maggots. Now, having said that, I have my own certain, I call it guarded optimism with regard to this coming Tuesday. By the way, folks, we are 5 days away from what I truly believe is going to be a groundbreaking election. Midterms are customarily ignored, and normally, if this were a normal year, but it hasn't been normal for 10 years now, if this were a normal year, the party out of power, out of the Oval Office, would go in and clean house during the midterms. And there have been tons of polls, and the leftists and the LDAM going 210 over 190, saying that how they're going to kick the living dog snot out of the GOP. Stop. I don't think they are. I have what is called guarded optimism. So I want to know you, Kari Baxter Donovan, what do you think might occur this coming Tuesday, 5 days away?
I think that the majority of the people who voted for Trump are going to show up to vote. And I think that he's made gains in women who voted for Hillary, which were how many? So Hillary's vote mostly was very wealthy progressives, right? Very wealthy white progressives. And I think Trump got pretty much everybody else. So I think that Trump has gained in the black vote and gained in the women, especially moms. And so I think he hasn't lost any of his base, and that he's picked up a lot of voters, Hispanic. He's gotten most of the what we would call brown people because of his jobs. And I think that the Democrats are going to be curled up in a fetal position because they're going to have lost again. The battlefield numbers that I'm seeing, if true, from pollsters who are not in the mainstream media, because they're all, I say that they're smoking crack.
Yeah, they are.
Just like they were before, smoking crack.
Yeah.
They're stupid. Not only they're stupid, they're too ideological, and they can't see past their indoctrination. The people who are doing these mainstream media polls, and some of them are paid opposition, to discredit and marginalize. So who cares anything what they say? The numbers that I have seen are shockingly Republican, very positive for the Republicans. Now, that being said, not all Republicans are good guys. And, like in this book, George Bush is a Republican. And there's nothing different between him and Bill Clinton and Michelle Obama. There's nothing hardly at all different except for a little pigmentation, and I don't know if there's anything different in chromosomes between the three of them. But anyway, not all the Republicans are good guys, so it's kind of, it's a mixed bag, isn't it, to get excited. But at least I do believe that the Republicans are going to make gains. I think that we're going to have the House, the Congress, and the executive, and I think that Trump is going to get a lot of things done. And I'm very hopeful that some of that, of what he's going to get done, is exposing the deep state. And I think that this is an indicator that this book is coming out right now because, I don't know that Mike would really risk his life and his family's life, right, to put this book out. Maybe he would, because I do know that he wants that revenge. But many different indicators, economic indicators, things like this book as an indicator that people believe that Trump is going to win again, and when Trump, even though he's not on the ballot, is going to be emboldened by the wins. So people are acting as if he's going to be emboldened by the wins, which makes me think people who know things and are way smarter than I am see that Republicans are going to clean up. So I'm sure there's probably one or two surprises in there for the Democrats because, first of all, they're going to cheat like heck.
Oh,
we already know that.
Already occurring.
Get away
you
with
bet.
It. Yeah, they're going to get away with something somewhere. They'll have something will be surprising to us. I don't know what it is.
Well, we
have to
ask ourselves, what do we think the biggest difference is between 2016 and now November of 2018? I submit the biggest difference is the walk-away movement and Blexit, and the fact that the economy, which the Demorats have been trying to tamp down as much as humanly possible, is now benefiting Hispanics, Mexican Americans, Black Americans. Unemployment is lower than it's been. I mean, these are numbers that are serious, and the Democrats have the ear in the publishing arm, the American media maggots. So, again, just like 2016, they have all the cards, they're playing them, but they have no ideas. As Mr. Helms told me back in the late 60s, early 70s, Democrats don't win elections, Republicans lose them. But the polls, and I know the standard mantra of Dave Milner is, I don't believe in polls. Yeah, but they can also be used as an indicator. I don't hang my hat on them or keys or anything like that. But the polls can frequently be an indicator depending on, they'll kind of give you a little bit of the prevailing political prairie winds. What I think, and then I'd like to have you weigh in, Kari, Baxter, Donovan, is not only are we going to keep the Senate, I suspect we're going to add 3, 4, or maybe even 5 seats in the Senate, which in terms of percentile is rather huge. Now, 435 in the Congress, the last I'd heard is that it's running a split about 199, 198 to about 203 with the tip of the hat over to the Demorat side. But there are many other what I call unfactored pieces to consider in this is how many people, and you can never quantify it, how many people have been watching the Kavanaugh hearings, the violence on the left, how many people that are living in leftist enclaves and have seen their shit get caught on fire or blown up or destroyed, are unhappy with that. However, they've had to sit in silence because they know that if they wear a red hat, wear a red shirt, or verbally indicate that they're supportive of anything GOP or Donald John Trump, they'll get their ass kicked. And they're not in the mood for that because they have actual jobs. So the people that are, just like Brandon Straka said, the silent majority. I think the silent majority is going to speak again in 5 days. And I think we'll also keep the House.
Yeah, they're the ones who spoke in 2016, and that's the group of people that I'm most in tune with. So 20 years ago when I started my activism, my story was the country is conservative. People are conservative at heart, in their minds, their spirits. What they want is a conservative agenda. But we're allowing cultural Marxism to shame them away from it, so that the people who are conservative, the majority of people, are actually not voting at all because they just don't want to deal with it. They're just shutting down. And that was my story 20 years ago. And so I still see that group of people, except what happened was when Donald J. Trump came out, those are the people I saw at that first rally. And I said, that's it. Trump's going to win because he's got these people on their feet. And those are the majority of Americans who are conservative, meaning they want liberty, they want jobs, they want freedom to do what they want to do, and they want jobs. Those are important things to them, and they will get up and go vote if they think their vote is going to mean something. Before Trump, they didn't care. They just knew that their vote wasn't going to mean anything. So here we go again, where it took people like Steve Bannon I believe he was the originator of the idea of you have to vote as if this is Trump's first reelection. And when we started talking that way, all of those people who've never voted in a midterm before, who didn't even know what a midterm was, has been getting bombarded with different documentaries, movies, posts, stories. That is why social media it's surprising to see the things that they will do to try to keep us quiet. Now, I've tried to run movies, I write articles, so I really know. I've had websites. I know people who've had millions of people cut out of their pages. Okay, so I'm like sort of on the inside track of this one a little bit, and it's like, why would you have to go to these extremes to cheat if you weren't going to lose?
Because
they know they're going to lose.
You can't win the common argument. That's why they cannot win the common argument.
They can't win the common,
they
can't win with the common American.
Yes,
and the common American is no matter what color their skin is, what their where they come from, who they like to go, party with. It doesn't matter because what unites Americans is pretty much they all want a job, so they can have some money of their own so that they can go and do what they want to do without the government with their nose in it. So that is a common theme that's called, and that's pretty much what conservatives talk about, and that's what libertarians and liberty lovers talk about. And so all of those people combined together, there's no way that Trump has lost any of those people. There's nothing that he has done. But that Kavanaugh, I think that Kavanaugh, that whole debacle really cemented with women, because the women, really all that Hillary has left now are very weak Democrat men. Okay.
Yes.
Not even the women can even get behind Democrats anymore, because this is the party of Hillary. It's still the party of Hillary. Everything is Hillary about that. The Democrats, right?
I say trot her out again in 2020. By God, bring two people out in 2020.
As soon as ever present. Yeah, you can't get her. They cannot shake her.
Bring Hillary Clinton out or bring Joe Biden out. One of the two. Oh my God, how entertaining that's going to be.
Now, I have to tell you something exciting. I was thrilled to death this past weekend when I was in D.C., and I was there with a website called Spreaker.com. They've started a new sort of Facebook-esque platform for free speech. And
I'm a member. I signed up, and I'm a member.
And so I went there. Okay, and I went to promote them, and so I was in sort of the middle of the whole the Blexit and the walkway. I went to all of the walkway events, and then I was at the Trump Tower.
That's right.
Numerous times. Yeah. And now, I've been involved in black conservative activism for 20 years. That's really my wheelhouse. That's my baby. I feel very connected to that movement. I know a lot about it. I know a lot of the activists who are involved in it. I have been personally involved in it for 20 years. Okay, so that is really my baby. I know it very well. And I have to tell you, I was thrilled to death. I was at the Trump Tower, at the Trump International. It's the old post office that he made into a hotel, right? And I was there, and I was having dinner with a filmmaker who had come in from British Columbia to meet people. I told him, I'll introduce you to a whole bunch of people, so just come on down. So he came on down, and we were sitting there, we were having dinner, and I'm in the Trump International Hotel, and I was thrilled to death with what I saw, which was a handful. No, more than a handful. It was 2 handfuls. No, it was like 50 young black conservatives or conservatives, I don't even know, men, okay, in red Make America Great hats. Some of them were like shaped like Kangos. Some of them were shaped like, baseball hats. It was thrilling to see them. They were so excited, and they walked in and they're looking around, and I could just tell. I'm like, they love Trump. They love what he represents. It's called prosperity. Why shouldn't those people have prosperity? Why shouldn't we all have prosperity,
exactly.
Right? And this man walks in, and he has on, he's black. He is black. He's dark black. He has a black hat on, and the letters on it are gold, Trump. And he has gold teeth, and he has a shirt on it that says racist. And he walks by, and I couldn't see what it said. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go see what that shirt says. So I went and I introduced myself, and I said, hi, I'm a reporter, and I really am interested in what does your shirt say, because he was sitting down. I couldn't see it. He stood up. He was so polite. He was so nice. And he said, well, I'm running for city council. And I said, oh, I know your name because Lonnie Poindexter told me about all these black conservatives who are running in D.C. I know the whole list. I'm very excited about what you're doing. Can I see what your shirt says? And it said liberal. And then it was defined as a liberal is anyone. Wait, a liberal, how did it go? A racist. A racist is anyone who loses to a liberal. And I'm standing there, and I said to him I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to stand here for a minute. My head is just, I have to pinch myself. If I read what your shirt says, a racist is anyone who loses an argument to a liberal. And he said, I don't believe in white privilege. And he started talking to me. He said, I have been a black conservative for a very long time. And I'm like, hallelujah, because I've always known for a long time there have been a lot of black conservatives, but they didn't. Giving them a platform is very smart because they couldn't get a platform. The GOP did nothing to help them, by the way. This is pure Donald Trump, because I'm telling you, I know this movement. I know what I know, right? And I was involved in the GOP, and I know that the GOP would not give black conservatives a platform. So this is pure Donald Trump, and this is why this is all momentum for him. It's not about Republicans, okay? So to have black conservatives, to win them over, to get them up off their feet, go voting, that's huge. And it's very exciting if you think about it. I get excited about it because it's the right thing. And I believe that economic equality is very important to our freedom. But even if you didn't care about that kind of stuff, you'd have to get excited about a whole new group of people who are going to be very loyal to Trump and have walked away. And all of those people, whether they're in the walk away or not, they have left, not to demoralize anybody, but they have left the Democrat plantation where they were not being treated well. But that being said, Republicans also didn't treat them well either. It's Trump.
No, it is Trump.
This is Trump fever. So, it's very exciting to me.
He is an entirely different paradigm. He's an entirely different cat. He is so independent and doesn't give one rat's titty about what anybody essentially thinks or says of him. He is financially independent. He is ideologically independent. He pisses off as many never-Trumper standard, what I call old staid Republicans who, let's admit it, they want illegal immigrants almost as much for the work and for the cheap labor as the Demorats do, just to make sure that they're voted for in perpetuity. Because now blacks are no longer monolithic.
They don't need people walking around feeling like they're proud Americans, worthy of great things, because that doesn't give them anybody to look down on.
No.
And that's what the Democrats are reduced to. And I was talking to this man today who's running for judge, and I'm going to vote. He's talking to me. I'm a captive audience now. He's standing here in front of my line, and he's talking to me. And he said, well, I'm a Democrat, and I'm a judge, Superior Court judge. And I said, no, I'm not voting for you. And he said, well, but I'm the incumbent. And I said, I'm not supporting anything that the Democrats do. Yeah, he said, but your sheriff endorsed me, the Republican. I said, and I'm sure you're a very nice person, but I'm not voting for any Democrat for any reason ever again for the rest of my life. And his voice started to crack. He was getting emotional. He said, then you're going to lose a good judge. I said, a good judge wouldn't be a Democrat.
Well, exactly. And folks, this is the point of the show tonight, Kari Baxter Donovan. I'm going to let you have the last word in just a second. The point of the show is we have the ability, conservatives, GOP, and people like me, independents, we have the ability to make the difference in 5 days. On Tuesday, it's in our palm. So I'm not negative Nelly about all of this. As I indicate, I have guarded optimism. I do believe that we will definitely keep the Senate. And you know what? If we lose the House, it won't be by much, maybe a couple of seats, if that. But I go back to, I really don't think we're going to lose the House. And if we do, the Senate essentially has all the power anyway, so where are they going to go? Now, it's going to be tons of Sturm and Drang if they get the House. I don't think that's going to happen. I am very positive about next Tuesday. What about you? Final word, Kari Baxter Donovan.
I am very positive. I feel very good about it, but everyone needs to get out and vote because the Democrats will pull out all kinds of crazy stuff. And so I stood in line today, and I didn't want to. Everyone has to go do their duty, take care of it, pull the lever, right, go do it. But I feel very positive that it's going to be good. And I think we keep the House. I think we keep the Senate. I think we keep the power. But the Democrats will still walk around as if they won, and they'll try to, pull off something. Right. But I'll be watching and expecting some kind of plate tossing event and fetal positions and things like that. I feel they're going to try to make us feel guilty and bad, and I'm not going to ever feel guilty and bad about winning. So get out and vote. Buy the book. It's excellent. And thanks for having me on.
The book, again, is by Mike Moore, and he says Mike to make him different, of course, so that you appreciate the differential between Michael Moore and Mike Moore.
Yeah.
And the book is Pain, How We Dismantled the FBI in Our Pajamas. I'm going to get into that bad boy tonight. Kari Baxter Donovan is already delving into that thing. It's a trade paperback size. You can get it on Kindle, or the trade paperback looks like it's going to be a great book, and I'm going to have Mike Moore back. Kari Baxter Donovan, my East Coast political goddess. You will hear her again Tuesday night when she weighs in, depending on what the hell happens Tuesday night on the SHR Media special report, the election special. So she'll be back on Tuesday. Lots of other people will be back on Tuesday. Kari, Baxter, Donovan, thank you very much for staying up late tonight.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. See you Tuesday.
All righty. Thank you, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Folks, Kari, Baxter, Donovan will be right back right after this.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is Sackhead Sean.
And this is Sackhead's Clint.
And Sackhead's BZ.
Join us for a very important SHR Media special report, Election Night, November 6th, as we cover midterm returns live from the SHR Media studios.
Not only will we have the best live election coverage, we'll have our very own SHR reporters on scene around the nation to keep you immediately updated.
We'll start at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and go until, well, it's over. We may have some choice comments to make along the way.
For the best midterm election night coverage, go to shrmedia.com and watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics,
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
and all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Delineates. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Delineates.
Hey girls, Carry Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic, concealed carry, and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out carrygirlgear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On shrmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. shrmedia.com. Be there.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through shrmedia.com, highplainstalkradio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the unpleasant blind guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're listening to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct from the SHR Media studios, where I am broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. I currently sit in the SHR palatial and sumptuous media studios 2 miles from the locus of evil on the entire West Coast. My God. It's Sacramento and the Capitol building, the Bill Mill, where crap seems to erupt whenever they're in session. They're a full-time legislature. Ooh-hoo. California is so lucky to have a full-time legislature. Wow, the luck brims forth. But when I get through at the end of the night and I go out that door right over there that you can't see on the screen, I open the door and I can smell the dead, burnt bodies, the smell of sulfur and brimstone encompassing the evil, the festering, pustule-ridden evil that issues forth from the Capitol building 2 miles that direction. Never. This is just a happy safety tip from me to you. Never come to California if you don't have to. Never visit. Never spend any money here. Never buy any products from California. Don't support California in the slightest if you can possibly help it. Just as I say, an important safety tip from BZ to you. The rest of the show is going to be essentially a cavalcade of why it is that you never vote for another Demorat again. Thanks to Kari Baxter Donovan for being on the entire first hour, and essentially she said the same to a judge in D.C. this weekend, and that's this. She's never voting for another Democrat again, period, end of statement. They could be a great guy. Maybe they are. I don't care. And she doesn't care either. Because you have done so much, you, Demorats, leftist Demorats in the American media maggots, to pull this country down and make it resemble a country that I sure as hell don't remember from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. When we were dynamic. Donald John Trump, the guy with the dead orange cat on his head, is turning this crap around. And people are saying, well, this... The birthright and the issue of it's so racist to not be able to bring your people in here, your pregnant women, and have a baby and drop it here in the United States, and instant citizen. The reason he's doing that is because he wants to push, this would be my guess, he wants to push the issue into the Supreme Court. And that dovetails wonderfully with why did the left and the LDAM fight so viciously about Kavanaugh? Because they know this very important fact. They cannot generally win in the court of popular opinion. The chances are too great that they can be shot down by these asshole voters that don't know how to vote properly, i.e. vote Demorat for the rest of your life. So they know that having a handle on SCOTUS and the appellate courts and the lower courts is incredibly important, because if they can't get it in the popular vote, or if they can't get people to vote for them in perpetuity, which is why, parenthesis, see illegal immigrants and invasion that's coming to the south of our border, then they need to have it done in the courts. Well, if they're losing or in the process of losing votes, and if they're in the process of losing SCOTUS, what do they have left? Hence, you're seeing all the violence. James Cromwell, I think that's the guy's name, a character actor, has said out in public that if the GOP holds the House and the Senate, you will see untold acts of violence result. I completely believe him. And again, another reason why this is a late night show, but you and I both know. And thanks for listening live. That's it. Thanks for listening live. I need to mention this right now. Thanks to all the American truckers that are listening to me, because I get comments from you. I know you're not watching, but you could be listening to me on SHRmedia.com. All the people in the chat room, the Alaskan, Mary Brockman, Mike, Dave, Beantown, Billy, Whiskey Dale, etc., et al. One viewer who is masked, and we will not unmask one viewer here. But the paradigm has changed, and that's why leftists fought so terribly and violently, tooth and fang and claw, because they know that that's basically their last bastion left. So I have guarded optimism about Tuesday. We'll know. I will submit to you, I'm going to make a prediction. We will not lose the Senate. We will not lose the Senate. Sackheads Clint and I and another person that I speak to on a regular basis have said, quietly off air, they make it the House, but it's still the Senate that rules the day and has to disapprove or approve, et cetera, because that's how this works. We are going to keep the Senate. Now, from now until the rest of the show, you're going to hear reasons why you cannot ever afford to vote for Democrats, or what I call Demorats, ever again.
Simple fact. This is a fact. This is not
Barack Obama.
Unlike some.
Oh, by the way, and he's speaking recently. This is Barack Obama on the stump, and he's in Nevada. And he's talking, he's a man of the people because he's got a white shirt, open collar, and his sleeves are rolled up, and he's about to get hoisted on the petard of his own words, but he's fired up, folks. Obama is fired up.
I actually try to state facts. I believe in facts.
Right.
I believe in a fact-based reality.
Sure.
And a fact-based politics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in just making stuff up. I think you should, actually say to people what's true.
You can keep your plan if you are satisfied with it.
Listen.
If you like your plan and you like your doctor, you won't have to do a thing. You keep your plan. If you want to keep the health insurance you got, you can keep it.
Actually, any insurance that you currently have would be grandfathered in so you could keep. And so
Democrats
you could decide not to get in the exchange the better plan. I could keep my Acme insurance just to hide it.
Remember when the guy in the midst of an Obama speech stood up and said, "You lie"? It's because Obama lies.
Deductible catastrophic plan. I would not be required to get the better one.
PolitiFact is out with its Lie of the Year award.
And they named
President Obama and his claim that, quote, if you like your health plan, you can keep it, as the winner.
A system where we're going to work with your employers to lower your premiums by up to $2,500 per family per year. We will start by reducing premiums by as much as $2,500 per family.
Right.
Here's what changes, saying to people who already have health insurance and the employers who are providing it, we'll work to lower your premiums by up to $2,500 per family per year.
And then there's the reality that their neighborhood...
And then what happened is premiums soared by about 25% up to about 40%. No problem.
Around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book.
It appears President Obama got it wrong when he talked about a man who supposedly died because his insurance company canceled his coverage.
Oh, that's called a lie.
What we do know is that the natural protests that arose because of the outrage over the video
Okay, video. Now we're transitioning over to Benghazi. Benghazi, Obama, Susan Rice, lies, all lies.
were used as an excuse by extremists to see if they can also
directly harm U.S. interests.
A 14-minute movie trailer launched protests across the Muslim world. But it decidedly was not to blame for the attacks on the U.S. diplomatic and CIA compounds in Benghazi, Libya.
If you actually took the...
Stop for a minute. Here's what I think is happening. Obama got his knickers caught. And remember that he said he's got the Taliban by the tail. And he's chasing them all over the place. So politically speaking, it's not good for him to come back and say that, well, we need more security at our consulate. Because, hey, why would you need more security? Because you've got the Taliban on the run, dude. And they already knew that the consulate and the various buildings that are there, hey, they were targets and their security was weak and terrible. But still,
number of Muslims, Americans, we'd be one of the largest Muslim countries in the world. And
yeah, that's a lie.
We have put in place the toughest ethics laws and toughest transparency rules of any administration in history.
Yeah, that's a lie, too. Because if you remember, a lot of the journalists were pissed at Obama back in his 2 terms when he shut them out of meetings.
In history.
And a new Associated Press analysis says the administration has set a record for denying access to files or censoring them under the Freedom of Information Act.
Imagine that.
Unlike some, I actually try to state facts. I believe in facts.
Sure you do.
Right?
This is the same bullshit that you get, and you're going to get if you vote Demorat. This is why you have to vote red in 5 days. Folks, 5 days. Count them. I have stuck in my special absentee ballot. I drove from down here in Sacramento, where the studio is located. I drove 30 miles up the hill, up Interstate 80, to go where my absentee ballot should reside. I go there, I got out of my car, walked into a big building, handed my absentee ballot to a real honest-to-God individual whose name was Bert because I wrote it down, and now I know exactly to whom I gave my ballot. And I did that today, people. My votes are in. Now, in California, because they have a winner-take-all kind of thing, you can have a Demorat running against a Demorat in the same race. As a matter of fact, there were 4 races to vote on in California where Demorats were fighting Demorats because that's how it goes in California. Not one of those boxes got checked or blacked out by BZ. Just thought you should know.
I believe in a fact-based reality.
Yeah, Obama believes in a fact-based reality. As in, well, no. No, he really doesn't. Let's see. We were talking about Benghazi. And what I think, like I said, Benghazi is gun running. And that couldn't get out. That Obama was running guns. Wait a minute. You mean, BZ, that Obama was running guns just like Ronald Wilson Reagan was running guns? And look what happened to him politically. Well, Obama couldn't let that information get out, so it turned out that it was this horrible video that resulted in 4 Americans getting killed because, after all, what difference does it make, right? Here's an article about CNN. A political analyst at CNN calls the Benghazi hero, Chris Paronto, a racist after he happens to confront her. Kristen Powers, her response on Twitter is, "Dear white people who are upset that you can't dress up as another race or culture on Halloween, your feelings don't matter. The only feelings that matter are those who feel disrespected or mocked by you appropriating their culture for entertainment." Wow, just like Elizabeth Pocahontas, who is the queen of culture appropriation, as we already know. And then Chris Paronto, the survivor and the hero of Benghazi, had the temerity to get back on Twitter with a picture of Game of Thrones, a picture of Daenerys Targaryen, surrounded by her acolytes. And he captions it, "How Kristen Powers sees herself after complaining about white people dressing up as other ethnicities for Halloween." Kristen Powers, I got to tell you, I couldn't care less what people deign to be on Halloween. And real, actual people, real, actual Americans, they couldn't care less either. Here's an article from Politico. Now, as you know probably already from Politico, this is a left-leaning organization. And if you didn't know it, you'd know it now. This is from Politico 1 day ago. The headline is, Pelosi declares victory before Election Day. Let that sink in. Politico was publishing an article saying that you are stupid and you're not going to get out and vote. And so because of that, Pelosi and Politico know darn well that they can easily declare victory because you are fools and you're not going to get out and vote. The House Minorities Leader's spiking of the ball, even if her supporters wouldn't call it that, might be a little risky. But Nancy Pelosi is declaring victory for the Battle of the House already, and Politico is publishing that. That's what you need to read and hear and think about when you decide that you are going to get out of your house, because you must get out of your house to vote against any and every Demorat. Here's Nancy Pelosi on the Colbert Show.
A lot of talk lately about lowering the temperature of political discourse.
Listen to this.
Have you seen evidence of that?
Well, I think when we win, you will see evidence of that. Because when we do win, we will have, as we open the new Congress, we will honor the vows of our founders. E pluribus unum, from many one. Couldn't imagine how many.
Okay, so the translation to that, if you didn't get it, and I'm sure you did, but I'll say it anyway, the winning message from Pelosi translated, because I can do Pelosi speak for you, means give us power, continue to give us power, or give us power back in perpetuity, or we'll just break shit and kill people and set things on fire. So basically what she said is, we're not going to be civil unless you give us power. Then civility, only then can civility renew.
I like that.
Right?
I hope that be the case.
Well, you couldn't imagine how many we would be or how different we would be from each other. But they did know that we had to strive for oneness. Well, it's okay to disagree in the marketplace.
Okay, enough of that. I'm done with that. As a matter of fact, let's move on. Oh, gosh, is it time for me to do this? Maybe it is.
It's time for happy stories and good times.
Here's an article that says Trump announces plan to deny asylum seekers who don't show up at ports of entry in latest major immigration policy shift. And in response to that, I say, yeah, damn straight, Skippy. It's about time. President Trump announced in a lengthy speech at the White House Thursday afternoon, that in response to what he called the crisis at our southern border and a surge of fraudulent asylum claims, his administration will require asylum seekers to lawfully present themselves at a port of entry, like real normal people do. The move appeared designed to prevent many members of the leading Central American migrant caravan, which is an invasion party, which now numbers approximately 4,000. Let's see, the numbers I've seen are up to about 10,000 at this point, down from a high of 7,200. I doubt that. To make asylum claims if and when they reach the U.S. border. Asylum claims made by migrants caught crossing the border illegally would be summarily denied under Trump's proposal. Because, excuse me. Because on the other side of the border and at the border, there are attorneys and other persons who have vested interests in this, telling migrants what it is specifically that they need to say in terms of asylum in order to game the system. When we come back next week, I'm also going to go in depth, and I am not kidding you, in depth into the 14th Amendment, what it really means and what it really says. Here's another happy story. NBC News raises eyebrows by this is what they do because they are fake news, and NBC has been proven again that they are fake news. And this is why you cannot trust the major media outlets and why I call them the American media maggots. And this dovetails purposely with the Demorats as well, because the American media maggots, as I've said numerous times, are nothing more than the publishing arm of the Demorat Party. NBC News raises eyebrows, well, I hope you're sitting down, by sitting on information that contradicted Michael Avenatti's client's gang rape claim. NBC News is now under fire for sitting on information that would have cast serious doubt on wild claims about now Supreme Court Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh, just when the unsubstantiated allegations were rocking the judge's confirmation of the High Court. I told you why. Now you know why. Controversial attorney, or as Tucker Carlson says, CPL creepy porn lawyer, Michael Avenatti and client Julie Swetnick, how can you fucking live with yourself? Claimed last month Kavanaugh took part in high school gang rapes, just as Kavanaugh was defending himself against a separate uncorroborated claim. Avenatti connected NBC News with an anonymous woman he claimed would corroborate Swetnick's allegations, but instead accused the lawyer of twisting her words. Still, as you already know, NBC went with Swetnick's story without disclosing the exculpatory information that they were in possession of. Another reason you can't trust the American media maggots, and another reason that you can't trust Demorats. Oh, wait. Sometimes you can't trust Republicans as well. Paul Ryan, who is a lame duck... I have about a minute left before the bottom of the hour break. Lame duck Paul Ryan comes out of nowhere recently to blast conservatives and says that they practice tribalism. From Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan. Are you kidding? You think that you have any credence whatsoever in the conservative venue? Actual conservatives? Or in the Donald Trump venue? Hell no.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is Sackhead Sean.
And this is Sackhead's Clint.
And Sackhead's BZ.
Join us for a very important SHR Media special report, Election Night, November 6th, as we cover midterm returns live from the SHR Media Studios.
Not only will we have the best live election coverage, we'll have our very own SHR reporters on scene around the nation to keep you immediately updated.
We'll start at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and go until, well, it's over. We may have some choice comments to make along the way.
For the best midterm election night coverage, go to shrmedia.com and watch the show on Facebook, YouTube, and on Periscope. shrmedia.com. Be there.
Hey, this is Michael Wright.
And I'm Shannon Wright.
Join us for The Right Way with Shannon and Mike, Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on SHR Media.
Why are they joining us?
For fun things like sports, politics.
Oh, maybe some news and entertainment?
And all kinds of other things.
Money and recipes and events, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so join us Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. here on shrmedia.com.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Delineates. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Delineates.
Hey girls, Kari Girl Gear is here. More and more women every day are concealed carrying, participating in competitive shooting, and getting firearms training. It's not a boys' club anymore, and we don't have to shop in their stores anymore either. Finally, a cool and unique clothing line just for women. Dope tees and hats for the patriotic concealed carry and 2A girl. So what are you waiting for? Go check out KariGirlGear.com today.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
The new show on the SHR Media Network, Sackheads Against Tyranny. On SHRmedia.com. Go there quick like a bunny, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, every Wednesday. Live and direct on the SHR Media Network. SHRmedia.com. Be there.
When dirty politicians, shadow governments, and deceptive Islam blind the world with fake stream media smoke, their only fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through SHRmedia.com, HighPlainsTalkRadio.com, and the Western Free Radio Network at Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes for a different perspective weekly on the Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on BlogTalkRadio.com. There's
no surrender ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capitol, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad. Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
This is the final segment here tonight. BZ's final show until next Thursday night. So there's going to be a week where you're not going to hear me. You will hear me Tuesday night on the SHR Media Election Midterm Special. If Clint is around, you'll hear me Wednesday night. But my show will not be back for another week next Thursday. So I got to get my stuff in while I still can. Told you about Paul Ryan and how Paul Ryan, just like Dave Milner says in chat, Paul Ryan is a weasel. And basically Paul Ryan decided that it would be good to say that, you know, he's so sad that there is no bipartisanship, and he's so sad that Trump is so iron-fisted, and he's so sad that we can't get Congress together, and he's so sad that, you know, all that violence that's going on, well, yeah, the conservatives are every bit as responsible for it. Every bit. Oh, really? Paul?
Our conversation about budgets and taxes ran on CBS this morning, but we also talked about the increasing polarization among politicians. We started with Ryan's claim that news organizations don't cover Congress's bipartisan achievements. Why do you think there's not much talk about bipartisanship in the coverage?
I don't think it sells for you guys, for the media. You take a look at the bills we pass out of the House, about 1,000 bills. It's been one of the most productive sessions of Congress in a generation. And of those roughly 1,000 bills, over 80% of them are bipartisan bills.
Can't say as I necessarily disagree with him on that, but, well, I'll let you continue to hear this and let you draw your own conclusion.
So we've tackled opioids, we've tackled human trafficking, we've rebuilt the military. All of those are bipartisan, but they don't get reported. It doesn't sell. So I honestly think, John...
But you got to ask yourself a question. Do you really think that an assload of Demorats are voting for that stuff?
It's the hits and the clicks and it's the ratings chase that's on display in America today that says when they're fighting each other, that's when you cover it.
So if we accept some portion of responsibility for that, you've seen some President Trump's rallies.
Here comes the tit for tat that the talking head is setting up for Paul Ryan, and Ryan is going to walk right into this.
Do those?
Trust me, there's a point for me playing this for you I'll get to it.
Rallies accentuate the things that unite us, the bipartisan achievements, or are they, do they do something very successful in politics, wildly successful, which is sow division in the country? Do you see that happening at his rallies?
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes meaning?
Well, not always, but sometimes. I worry about tribal identity politics becoming the new norm of how politics is waged. As conservatives, we always thought this was...
Because I guess Paul Ryan and conservatives and never-Trumpers would rather have their faces and necks stepped on for the rest of their damn lives.
Sort of a left-wing Linsky thing. Unfortunately, the right practices identity politics now as well. It's the day and age, it's technology and everything else. Identity politics.
Because apparently Paul Ryan wants Republicans and conservatives to get their faces and necks stepped on from now until, forever.
Which is now being practiced on both sides of the aisle, is unfortunately working. And I think we, as leaders, we got to figure out how do we make inclusive aspirational politics strategically valuable again.
And the reason I played this is because huzzah, huzzah, the happy story is we've eliminated 3 of the people that were obstructionists in terms of, well, being conservative. We got rid of Jeff Flake. He was another McCain in progress. John McCain passed away in Arizona, and Jeff Flake learned at the feet of John McCain. Jeff Flake left because he finally realized that in Arizona he can't keep going because the people are onto his crap, and then Paul Ryan is leaving. So the reason I played that is because, hey, look, overall there are some positive things going on. Here's another thing that I may end up wrapping up with. You got to realize, folks, and people won't tell you, or they refuse to acknowledge it, but history has meaning. Facts have meaning. Facts out of the mouths of Demorats mean nothing because they dispute this, and that is a fact. The Demorats are the original and continuing party of racism. Fight racism. Vote Republican. Get out and vote red in 5 days. On November the 6th, turn in your absentee, get to the polls, and vote November 6th. And the Demorats, by the way, are in fact the true party of racism. Ask yourself a few questions, because I'm going to play a few audio cuts for you. Who were the original KKK members in the South? Oh, that's right, Demorats. Who voted against freeing the slaves during Lincoln's presidency? Correct. Demorats. Demorats voted against every single piece of civil rights legislation in Congress. Demorats voted against the 13th Amendment, except for 4 of them. Oh, and I'm sure they heard about it. Remember President Lyndon Baines Johnson? I remember a lot about him. I was alive during that time. He's best known for, and there are people that say, yeah, he did say that. If you remember where Lyndon Baines Johnson from Texas said, I'll have those niggers voting Democratic for 200 years. Now, Snopes, a leftist site, denies this, but there was a person who was very close to LBJ, a black guy by the name of Robert McMillan, who was an Air Force One steward, who said LBJ made those comments to 2 governors during a conversation regarding the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Now, here's LBJ in a conversation that was recorded about our good friends, the American blacks.
They can say you can't have a gas tax or a cigarette tax, anything else. Federal government's telling the states pretty tough what their business is. Now, you can say that they can't discriminate, but I've got to prove that it discriminates, and I can't prove it in Texas. There are more niggers voting there now than white folks. There are more of them buying poll taxes now than white folks. Higher percentage of them. And I can't show that the literacy test that discriminate against because they haven't got any. They got no test at all. Just by God, anybody that can get up and pay $1.06 can vote.
Lyndon Baines Johnson in all his wonderful glory. And then there's Hillary Clinton just recently, this past week, if I'm not mistaken.
Are the Democrats becoming the victim of too much political correctness? just a few more. I know.
Okay, no, look, I think this is a much tougher question than it sounds, because the easy answer is, well, we don't want political correctness. We just want people to, express themselves and be honest.
We don't want political correctness? Are you kidding me?
Authentic in what they say and believe. But I think it's also the case that what's often called political correctness is politeness.
So political correctness is just being polite. Lying to people is just being polite. Beating people up just for political correctness. Remember, when you take your lumps, the people that are delivering those lumps, they're just being nice.
Not being rude and insulting to people. It's respecting.
The truth is rude and insulting.
The diversity that we have in our society. So I don't know exactly how to answer that, because the Democratic Party is a much more diverse political party, attracting people who are African American, Latino.
Not anymore.
LGBT, whatever the reason why people.
By the way, Brandon Straka, folks, were you aware that he was a gay hairdresser? He was a hairdresser. He's still gay.
Feel more comfortable where they are taken in, where they are included as part of a political movement or party. And I don't think it's politically correct to say we value that. And I don't want to go around insulting people. I don't want to paint with a broad brush. Every immigrant is this, every African American is that, every other person.
That's funny. That's not what Donald John Trump has been saying. You're again misconstruing. You're giving mouth pablum. That's not what he's been saying.
And with different religious beliefs or whatever, that's childish.
What do you think of Cory Booker's? And you didn't comment on him, and feel free.
Oh, I adore him.
What do you think about him saying "kick them in the shins"? Essentially, start to get to that kind of political.
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't. Oh, well done. Hillary.
Okay, they all look alike. Great. Why is it that Hillary Rodham Clinton, a white female Demorat, manages to get away with saying that? Can you imagine the incredible ruckus that would have occurred had a white female Republican made the same statement? Here's a guy, Kevin at Kevin's Corner, and he kind of believes this too.
What's going on, America? This is Kevin in Kevin's Corner, and I got a bone to pick with Hillary Rodham Clinton. I'm sorry, I left her first name out. Crooked Hillary Rodham Clinton. And I also got a bone to pick with the liberal, funky, crooked media and all the Demorats, okay? See,
hey, wait, stop. I didn't notice this the first time around when I played that. I'm going to have to play this again. He calls them Demorats, just like me.
Okay, see, this is hypocrisy at its best. A few weeks ago, Ron DeSantis...
I missed it. Hey, welcome to Kaiser Schuffen chat. Oh, come on.
What the fuck is good, America? Jericho Green here with you once again, and I wanted to do this video yesterday, but my daughter, she was...
Okay, I'm not going to play that. I got to go back to this. That's what happens when you click the wrong thing.
Was talking about Florida and their policies, and he was also talking
Kevin
about
again.
Socialism and all the progress that Florida's making. And he was saying that when his opponent come in, Gilliam, he said, we don't want another party to come in and monkey things up. And everybody had a fit. Did you hear what he did? He said monkey in the same breath as he was talking about a black candidate. Therefore, obviously, he must have been referring to the black candidate when he said monkey things up. He might as well just said that monkey is going to monkey things up. That's what he might as well say. It's kind of like that's what I heard. What about you? Did you hear that? And all of them echoed the same thing across all the stations. I think I heard that's what they swear.
I like this guy.
It came across to me. So they had a problem with Ron DeSantis, saying monkey things up, which is a common phrase that a lot of people use, black, white, and so on and so forth. Black people always use it. Hey, y'all better stop monkeying around in there. You know what? You acting like a monkey. All of that stuff. Because actually, if you get a chance to go to the zoo and look at monkeys are all about chaos. They're about fun time. They throw poop at each other. They don't listen. They're sporadic. They make a lot of noise. They have a great time. Frankly, I don't even see the problem with relating to monkey life, because if you look at monkeys, they are constantly kicking it, okay? Yeah, carefree life. Eat a couple bananas, eat a couple lice off the friends, climb some trees, sleep it out. Yeah, but nonetheless, we live in this very hypersensitive society, so therefore they wanted to deem this man a racist just because he used monkey as a reference to talk about how you can screw up everything that they've been doing in Florida. And of course, the liberal media and all of the Demorats are looking for a option.
See, you call them Demorats again.
And a opportunity to highlight racism, right? Anything that can be questionable. But yet, Crooked Hillary was on a show the other day, and they were talking about two black people, and the lady who was interviewing her mixed them up, and Hillary corrected her, and she said, I know they all look alike, but I was talking about this particular person. And the crowd chuckled, and she laughed, and everybody went on. Now, where's all the social justice warriors? Where's everybody saying, oh, this is how she really feels? See, this is the sad part.
Right, yes.
If anybody really felt that way, I think Hillary would probably really feel that way on the inside. She might have let it slide out like it's a joke, but the reality of it is when you look at her background and the people that she rubbed elbows with, I don't know if those are the type of people that she came out and aggressively disavowed and said, you know what? I hate them. I should have never even said good things about them in the past. If I see them, I'm going to punch them in the face. I think if Hillary could unleash her real thoughts and feelings, I don't think they would be so kind.
And I think he makes an excellent point. I'm running out of time. I got 10 minutes left, maybe about 8 minutes, so I got to move on. Then, guess what? There was this from Don Lemon. Well, this isn't racist at all, much at all. Right?
I keep trying to point out to people not to demonize any one group or any one ethnicity, but we keep thinking that the biggest terror threat is something else. Some people who are marching, towards the border like it's imminent. And when the last time they did this, a couple hundred people came, and they, most of them did get into the country. Most of them got tuckered out before they even made it to the border. So we have to stop demonizing people and realize the biggest terror threat in this country is...
Wait, I'm saying that I have to stop demonizing people, and then wait for it, I'm going to start demonizing people.
White men, most of them radicalized up to the right. And we have to start doing something about them. There is no travel ban on them.
White men need a travel ban.
No ban on, they have the Muslim ban. There is no white guy ban. So what do we do about that?
Oh, the guy that killed 11 Jews, by the way, he was a registered Demorat. Don't hear anything about that, though, do you? No. Don Lemon, basically, if you haven't sussed it out by now, has the average IQ of a houseplant. Or maybe a fern, right? Okay. Don, where have you gone? So anyway, enough about Don Lemon. Enough about me. What about you? And then, hey, there was this comment from Joe Donnelly during a debate. Joe, take it away.
We want everybody to have a chance in Indiana and in America. And my offices reflect that, both on the campaign side and on the Senate side.
Oh, listen to this.
Our state director is Indian American.
Yeah.
But he does an amazing job.
He does an amazing job, even though he's Indian American.
Our director of all constituent services, she's African American. But she does an even more incredible job.
That's right. She does a good job despite being African American.
Than you could ever imagine.
Right. So good for you, Joe. Like Kevin said, maybe that's just Joe speaking for himself. Then here's another comment from another person involved in Walk Away. You see why I'm playing these things? These are the actual beliefs and belief systems of Demorats, which is why you can't vote for them and you have to vote red in 5 days. Mail in your absentees or walk them in there like I did and appear at the polls, because it is ours to lose and theirs to gain. More people speaking about the walkaway movement.
I just thought that I would do my first video, #walkaway. It's about time. It's time we walk away. It's time that we no longer allow anybody to try to hurt us.
This is another indicator of people making their own testimonial videos, and this is a base that has been unaccounted for by all the polls, including, as I indicated earlier, people that are just not going to tell you what they're thinking, because they know when they express themselves, they may get physically hurt for doing that.
Democratic Party is the party of slavery, Jim Crow.
Thank you.
It's the party that actually destroyed Black Wall Street. It's the party that has done nothing but destroy and divide the country. I don't know why everyone doesn't see what they're actually doing. All of the falsehoods. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you need to actually look in the mirror and look outside and see what's really going on, because there's a lot of lies going on in this area, in this country. It's time for a better way. Stop letting... I hate the Democratic Party. How dare you tell us that we need you? How dare you tell us that we can't achieve anything without you? How can you say that? How can you do that to somebody? For generations upon generations, and now we actually think that we need you, and we don't. Black people are the strongest people. We run faster, we jump higher. No sickness has ever taken us out. And it's time for us to do what we're supposed to do.
So she's advocating walk away because she's tired. She's tired of being a useful tool by Demorats. So there's so much more. Bill Whittle, if you've never heard of Bill Whittle, he did 12 minutes, and I knew I was going to run out of time. I got 5 minutes left. Bill Whittle, I'll probably play it next week just because it's so wonderful, did a 12-minute wrap-up of the history of racist Demorats that is clamped down. To me, it's pretty clear what party has been historically and is currently the oppressor in both deeds and words. It's the Demorat Party. That's why we need to vote red on Tuesday. Here's a quote from Booker T. Washington, who was a Republican and lived from 1856 to 1915. And he said, "There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into the settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs." Which is why I'm saying to you tonight, we can keep the House. We can keep the Senate. I need to constantly remind you of this because historically, decade after decade, I'm in my 7th decade. I'm not a young man by any stretch of the imagination anymore. Mr. Helms, my civics teacher, said, and it's going to be true on Tuesday, if it happens, you'll know why. He said, Democrats don't win elections, Republicans lose them. With that in mind, listen, folks, live, listening to me now, live in chat, or listening to me in podcast, listening to you in your trucks, down the highways, keeping America moving. With that in mind, the power on Tuesday, it rests in our hands. We have the power. Conservatives have the power. It's in our hands. It's not because the LDAM, the leftists, Demorats, and American media maggots are telling you they have the power. No, we have the power. Republicans have the power to go in and do something with these hands. Mark your ballots. Hand them in. Hand in your absentees. Please, you need to mail in or physically present your absentee ballots and ensure that you get to the polls. Vote early. You may have to stand in line. You may get rained on. Bill Whittle. Mike, the guy's name was Bill Whittle. He has a great series of lectures. He's almost like the precursor to Prager University. He had great illustrative videos on almost any topic you can possibly think of. Bill Whittle, Whittle. Great videos. So, in summary, because this is my last show until the election special, get out. Vote red in 5 days, November 6th. If we wake up Wednesday morning and we've kept the Senate and the House, that's called a message. And that's called a message, and a very pointed one at that, to the LDAM themselves, to the leftists, the Demorats, and American media maggots. That's a message they can no longer ignore, meaning that you have the power. You actually have the power. It rests with us. I'm saying right now, I'm asking right now, you have the power. Please utilize the power.
Monsieur has unlocked.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to the Bloviating Zeppelins Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. Thanks to Kari, Baxter, Donovan for being here tonight in the first hour. You want to contact me? You can find me on Twitter at BZEP, B-Z-E-P, on my blog at bloviatingzeppelin.net. My original intro music is by Possessed Tranquility. You can find them at reverbnation.com. Promotional considerations by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. And also by Pratt & Whitney. Thrust. You can trust. Tiaras are by My Little Pony. And also thanks to my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I will be consorting in less than an hour. Thank God. Thanks to Kari, Baxter, Donovan. Thanks so kindly to you for listening live. Thanks for being in chat. We have a job to do. Get ready this weekend. And then, all I'm asking, do your job on Tuesday. Folks, have a great weekend. God bless. Take care.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children.
Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good night,
Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.